have 3:31. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And first item on the agenda is to review the minutes of October 29th, which I will not vote in.
We do roll call first. Shepherd here.
LaPierre here.
Hampshire here. Irving here.
Royce here. Okay, so now moving on to the minutes. Any concerns or amendments?
Motion to accept?
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Next,
Peter abstained.
review of outstanding questions and discussion of new questions for prior budget chapters. Oh, sorry.
Request, I think it might be quick. You and I briefly touched base on this, very briefly. I'd love to see what the rate of increases for non-personnel costs, benefits, things like that, just to have an idea across the budget. I was going to go figure it out, but I'm like, you probably have a pivot table used to create in just 2 minutes.
Specifically for what, Scott?
Well, I'm trying to find out. It seems like the increase for materials, supplies, department needs is probably at or below the rate of inflation. And it would just be, to me, an interesting perspective for people to understand that that was true.
So
I think that'd be a good.
that number, we can do the percentage here live.
Yeah.
That number is in the initial budget presentation, which is in chapter 1. It is, I'll tell you what slide it is in a moment. Slide 19. So slide 19 shows that the total budget difference between 25 and 26 is 576,000. And 24% of that is budget impact factors not related to wages and benefits. So if we do 576,198 times 0.24 divided by last year's approved budget, which is 9,877,264, 1.4%. So the non-wage and benefit impact factors represent 1.4% increase over the 2025 approved budget.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
I had a question from the minutes, and again, because I wasn't here. In the police budget, it was talking about MDTs going to cost $150,000. Was there a timeline for that expense?
Yes. Don't ask me what it is, but it should be in police equipment replacement schedule connected to the capital reserve. So that's going to be chapter 17, probably the last document. They have 2027 as the date.
Okay, thank you.
Computers and associated equipment. And MDT is mobile data terminal. They're computers. They're ruggedized laptops. So yeah, that last document, if you look down, 2027 computers and associated equipment.
Yeah.
And they point out those years where they'll spend more than the annual appropriation. But of course, that's why we contribute to a capital reserve, because our expenses aren't always consistent year over year. But if we try to keep our contributions consistent, then the tax impact stays consistent.
Okay, so there'd be almost a $20,000 extra into that account.
You're right.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. Moving on, review of the building budget. Hi there.
Hello, thank you. James Jennison, Building Department Head. I feel I know most of you. Nothing too exciting other than lots of building permits going out in the building department. Things stay pretty level, I think. Still trying to hire a part-time employee, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
That was actually a question of mine, because looking at the list of employees, it looked like they were all full, so we're adding another person?
No, I apologize if the way I wrote that, describing the team as a four-person team when it's at its full capacity. But we are struggling to fill the part-time position, one part-time building inspector.
So that was the second half FTE that we added 2 budget cycles ago. And so it's very effective. We had a great gentleman in that role, and he had to step aside for personal reasons. And we have advertised the position looking to fill that as the half FTE that was
Okay,
previously
so
approved.
that last entry is absent really, right?
Yes, Ralph Kleinman, he was the most recent incumbent in that position.
Okay.
Yep, so that is now vacant.
Any other questions or comments? Bye.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks for being here,
Thanks.
Jamie.
That time,
I will point out that in the absence of that half FTE, both Jamie and John Huckins, who you all know very well, have done a tremendous job managing the workload in that department. Obviously, this is a department where the vast majority of the costs of the department are recovered in building permit fees. And so it's in times like now where we're spending less money and still managing the voluminous workload of the building department right now, they're doing a phenomenal job. And credit where credit's due. You know, we talk about folks doing more with less, and right now their less is man-woman power, right? And they're managing the workload with it and bringing in a tremendous amount of revenue as a result of the work they're doing. So, great team.
Thank you.
If you're looking to join the team, there's a vacancy. And Mr. Chair, I see that Frida's joined us online. Can you hear us, Farida?
Yes, hello everyone. Sorry, I have a
Terrific.
cold, so I didn't want to infect anybody.
Thank you for not sharing. So we'll reflect in the minutes 3:38. Frida is joined the meeting.
Okay, moving on to the highway, chapter 20 in your book.
Glad to introduce Public Works Director Mike Netto. He's served in the post since September and supported closely by most recent road agent Mark Morrow and Aaron Paradise, Transfer Station Administrator, Highway Support Assistant. Mike, Advisory Budget Committee.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just press that button, make sure it's green. Yep, there you go.
How about that?
Perfect.
Good afternoon. So as Connor stated, I just started here shortly after Labor Day. Mark has been working tirelessly on getting the budget all put together for me for this year. I hope should be taking a much more central role in the highway budget for next year.
Mark probably hopes so too.
But I will mainly for Mark. But I will do my best to help answer any questions you guys may have today.
Perfect.
Question from the
For
board.
me,
So I think the biggest item that this board should discuss and should consider is the additional funds for paving. We've talked in the past about the importance of increasing the paving operating budget to cover the inflationary nature of paving costs and doing the same amount of paving but costing a lot more. And so in the past, we have deferred this increase in the operating budget to the separate non-lapsing paving warrant article, which has been supported by residents each year, which is terrific. And so $50,000, if we look back at that 1.4%, right? So let me bring my calculator back up. That's $138,000 of an increase that isn't wages and benefits, and $50,000 of that is paving. And so of that 1.4%, this is the vast majority of that 1.4%. And so as we look at the budget as a whole and the separate warrant articles, considering the $750,000 and $150,000 separate non-lapsing warrant article contribution, it's something that this board should consider and discuss and identify what the priorities are.
If I may, I have a question. At what point and what circumstance are we going to use the transportation fees, which are
Excellent
getting
question.
big?
Excellent question. Yes, those funds are encumbered for the drainage work on Malago Road. So that's a pretty, the stars aligned for us there is maybe the best way to say it. So Malago Road is very flat. It has all open drainage, but there's nowhere for the water to go. So the net result of that is the water gets up under the road surface, breaks up the road through the freeze-thaw cycle. And even if we pave it and rebuild it, it doesn't matter because the water's still there. And so the reason that problem's never been solved is because there's nowhere to put the water. Fortunately, there's a pit that was sold about the time that we ramped up our efforts to figure out how to address that problem. And we were able to make a deal with the developer to put the majority of the water from the drainage on Malago into the detention pond, the treatment system that was designed for that subdivision project. So we have the easements, we have 2 pipe locations to get there. Obviously, that all has to be at our cost, and that's all well and good. It's going to be expensive. I want to say just installing those 2 pipes from the road to the detention pond, we had a proposal at one point of $200,000. And that doesn't include all of the drainage work that has to happen along Malago. So anyways, we don't have the final cost for that. Engineering is underway, wrapping up. They're working on permitting, state permitting, alteration of terrain. And we expect that will probably more than exhaust that transportation fee capital reserve, but it's a great opportunity to have that, not have to raise additional funds to accomplish that project and have cash on hand from the transportation fee capital reserve. And so that's been the plan since we've been working on Malago drainage for the last 4 years. Just things take time.
Yeah, my hope, of course, was that we could use some of those monies for paving rather than for projects, but.
There may be an option with that. We have some of the state, unanticipated state revenue from 2 years ago. Senate Bill 401 established bridge dollars and road dollars. I think we have about $64,000 in road dollars that we haven't spent yet. And so that's something that we could consider. Maybe it would be helpful for the select board to have that report, or the budget committee to have that report that you provided, Mike, in the minutes. So we'll get you the balances of those accounts for consideration.
Are asphalt prices up again?
They, yeah, right after the last budget was passed in 2025, there was a spike in liquid asphalt prices right at that moment. So all year long, we've been paying an escalation charge for every ton of asphalt we had laid.
Even though crude prices have been fairly level?
You'd think it would work like that. It don't. Not with asphalt. Once it goes up, it kind of stays up.
It's a sticky thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about, right? I mean, I'm presuming that's an accurate reflection of the cost, so it is what it is.
I think funding source is the conversation. I mean, I think if this group is satisfied that those are appropriate priorities and those dollars need to be spent, conversations about the appropriate pots to pull from in order to fund those priorities is important. Obviously, the value of increasing the operating budget over time, incrementally over time, is that becomes part of the default budget. And in those years where the budget isn't approved or the separate warrant article isn't approved, we're not taking a tremendous step backwards in funding our pavement management plan. And so there is value in incrementally increasing the paving portion of the budget. It's costly.
And we used all of the non-lapsing fund.
We used all the
Last year and this
non-lapsing
year.
fund that is going to expire in December of this year. I believe there's a balance remaining
Yeah, but it's being spent quickly with the paving invoices coming in, so.
for
But I
the
don't
balance
know.
that expires December 2026.
Yeah, I don't know if there'll be any money left over. I'm not sure. You think so?
But yes, we haven't left any of that money on the table.
And that expired this year or next year?
We always propose them as non-lapsing to lapse in 2 years, so that we have them available as a cushion to spend in that current budget year. And then that essentially becomes the first money that we spend in the next year, the year that it expires. So we haven't left any of that money on the table.
And again, probably something only I would care about is the request is labels it as a new fund. And I guess it is kind of new,
Well,
but
it's new every year. Yeah, it's a weird one because it's new every year, and those dollars aren't commingled with prior non-lapsing funds. So
Yeah.
probably technically correct, but it's not a fund at all. It's an appropriation.
right.
So
Where are we on the management plan? Are we
good
up to
question.
date as far as the overall paving plan that we have for what we're gonna do?
So the
Are we pretty much up to date?
So the paving plan is just about, the revamped paving plan is ready to be released here shortly. They're just putting the finishing touches on it. So it's basically a look back at what we've done and also projection of future needs. So they've basically reassessed everything. And some of it, some of the plan the original plan we were able to stick to. Other parts of it we couldn't, just because some roads just got out of
In
hand.
the upper left corner.
But
Yes.
the renewal is on the way.
Yellow all. And that's an important update because it's not only reflective of the work that we've done, which has largely been consistent with the plan, but also changing priorities, but also reprioritizing the future years of the plan. And so it was always kind of part of our planning to continue to update that plan as appropriate. And so this is a good time to do it. We've accomplished 80% of what the plan had originally proposed. And so we'll be able to update our steps moving forward. And obviously we have benefited tremendously from the institutional knowledge that Mark brought to the table running a paving company for 40 years. And so we have had somebody on the inside helping steer our paving work to the maximum possible benefit for residents, where he has the strong relationships with the paving companies and knows how to work the projects and the roads to get the best bang for the buck, and knows where the smart investments are made. And so, the pavement management plan is important, but Mark's year by year tweaking of how we actually implement that plan has been a tremendous value add. And we're lucky to have him continue in the department and help support Mike when it comes to paving projects in the future.
Thank you. Fahey, did you have a question?
Farida, you're muted. If you had something,
Yes.
Yep, there you go.
Actually, my question was answered, but also just as a person that actually lives in Barrington, on Beauty Hill Road, there is, some of the areas in the beginning of Beauty Hill is like it has problem for pavement problem. So, is that amongst the in your program to fix that area?
Beauty Hill's not on the list, is it?
Not on the immediate list.
Right. I think that's what she's asking.
Once we have the new updated pavement management plan from CMA, we'll be able to determine if that is on the list. But right now it is not.
No.
Yeah, because it's consistently deteriorating on the side of going, the right side of going to 125.
Are you talking at the bottom of Beauty Hill Road?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're coming from the Beauty Hill Road, it's the beginning, right? The beginning to the right. If you're, if you're coming from the 125,
Okay.
it's
so
on the left side.
So that bottom section of Beauty Hill Road, where it meets 125, we purposely did not do any paving to that, I think 3 or 4 years ago now, because that end of that road at some point, hopefully soon, is going to be realigned to make it a better access and less dangerous access onto Route 125.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's a very dangerous point, actually.
it is. So we didn't want to put any money into reconstructing an already dangerous intersection when there was already talk about that intersection being straightened out and made safer. So we didn't see the need in putting money, good money after bad, basically.
Mhm.
That's New Hampshire DOT
yes.
will do.
Right, especially after the state has renewed effort to look again at 125 to make that safer.
So the state will pay for that.
Yeah, because when you're coming from the other side of 125, there has to be like a stop sign or something. It is really, really dangerous, that spot.
It's a horrible spot.
Yeah. Thank you.
The paving mix now, you're using less recycled stuff. How's that holding up, and how many years have we been doing that? And how's that looking?
I think we've been using the low recycled asphalt product mix for, I believe, at least the last 4, probably last 5 years. In my estimation, it's worth the extra $7 or $8 a ton. If you understand how the stuff is made without going through a long chemistry lesson, but basically there's more virgin asphalt liquid being introduced into the mix and less reliance on recycled asphalt liquid, which has already been partially oxidized, or you wouldn't be ripping it up in the first place. So the quality and the elasticity of the asphalt that's in the recycled component of the mix is not of the same quality as the virgin liquid is. So your flexibility suffers when you use the more recycled asphalt you use, your flexibility suffers. So pavement cannot take a frost heave as many times with high wrap mix versus the low wrap mix. And there's a whole big other explanation to it that you don't want to hear right now.
Is there a sort of a guesstimate as far as what longevity would be from fresh material as opposed to recycled material?
I don't know any numbers, but just by the way the history of how we used it so far, pretty pleased with the results. I mean, it's holding up well. There's been a few frost heaves that have appeared that have gone back down without any cracks.
Yeah.
So, in my estimation, it's working.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for highway? All set. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. I'm going to stay right here for the next one.
Okay.
You're a glutton for punishment.
Yes.
Good
Hi, Aaron.
afternoon. How's it going?
Any questions about the transfer station?
Well, what's it look like for renewing our contract with Waste Management, and where are we with that, and that whole
It's a crystal
We
ball
are-
question.
That's
can of
next week's
worms?
meeting.
We
Pay
are
for it out of her back
currently,
pocket.
no, I wish. We are currently, we put out to bid an RFP for solid waste removal services. So those are due back on the 19th. So we'll see what's out there and what the numbers look like then.
And the current agreement expires when?
It's basically the end of 2026. It's 2027, but so we'll have,
January 1st,
yeah,
27.
January 1st, 26, so
27.
27.
Yep.
Okay,
All of next year.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
In the current contract.
Yeah, I just have a correction, which probably doesn't mean much, but on the budget, the year-end estimate and the estimate remaining are reversed. If there were 90,000 left, I'd be excited, but I don't think there is.
That's a typo from up
Updated
above.
on the website, just not in your
Okay,
packet.
Yeah.
okay,
Peter, I had the same question, so.
okay. Anything else? Nothing? Do we have any specific plans for updates, upgrades, I should say, for next year?
At the facility itself?
Yeah, whether it be paving or something.
Ooh, yeah,
There may be some paving to address some of the issues close to the MSW building. The pavement there has deteriorated it's pretty bad right there. And there is also an ongoing issue with one of the concrete pads for one of the MSW cans. It has essentially worn some tracks into the concrete, which doesn't allow the can to be lined up to the compactor appropriately, so it's got to be shimmed up a little bit. Looking to see what we can do in the interim to kind of skate by. I've been talking with Aaron a little bit about what that may mean for a long-term plan. It may be a little complicated. I probably got to get CMA involved in that and to see our best way to go about having to install a new pad right there, or in both cases, and the same with the bulk waste really needs to be addressed in that area right there as well.
only because it means that we have to halt operations over there, obviously for having the cure. So we're going to have to adjust how we do things at the facility, why that happens, because there really isn't consecutive days in a row that we aren't open now, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but you know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense for us to do one side and not the other. We got to do everything kind of all at once, so.
Just have to really be clever on how
Yeah.
we manage keeping the transfer station open and have the project done kind of at the same time.
That'll be an interesting development.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Can we set it up so it's on one of the holidays, day before? I don't have my calendar out. So that
When we
one of the
get
holidays where the
closer,
transfer station's closed, and then we'd have a 4 or 5 day.
that's a really good thought. When we get closer to really pulling the project off, we'll be looking at timing to get the longest duration we have, where it could be, with the transfer station maybe closed, so that we could have it sort of done at that time frame.
Right.
Any other questions or comments?
How's the composting program going?
It seems to be, it seems to be going very well. We consistently have a pickup once a week. There are a lot of residents that are utilizing the program. I think it's beneficial that we are accepting more materials than what people would normally compost at home. That's been a big draw for them. So we've had a lot of people asking questions. It's still in its infancy, I say, just because we started at the beginning of the year. I'm hopeful that by the year end, we'll be able to kind of see where we are for our MSW tonnage and, what we've collected for.
That's a significant amount of weight, is it not?
Yes, yes. So I'm hoping that it reflects kind of what's happening on one end versus the other. It still may be too soon to tell, but
Mhm.
I'm really hopeful that those numbers will be glaring for us. So,
Are we still using one can?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. If we go to 2, it's going to up the price
Yeah, I know.
per month. So right now we can sustain the 1 with just how things are going.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
December.
For that, yeah.
Transfer station.
So going back to section 12 for general assistance.
difference there.
It'd be interesting to know if the general assistance is up. In fact, in several places, I don't know how many people are affected by the shutdown in our community.
Sorry, the end of 12.
My question probably has, my answer has probably walked out the door, but
Yeah.
in the general assistance wages and benefits sheet, it has the position as vacant. And are there any plans to fill that position?
Debbie does that position, but it used to be like a part-time position.
Right.
They combined it with HR, so maybe he just leaves it open
Yeah, okay, thanks.
as the need.
That was my guess, but I just wanted to confirm that. Any questions on general assistance?
No.
I think what Dannon said is important. We don't really know what the last month has done to us, and it'll be a
Yeah.
wait and see, but
Just a little bit worried that the budget itself, taking out all the personnel costs, it's so small. I do wonder if we're gonna run into problems and have to dip into our other accounts at some point, but we'll have to wait and see. It's a risk.
When would we know if we're seeing increase because of the goings on?
hopefully we could get some feedback by next meeting, wouldn't you think, Amy?
I think by the 19th, this group might have an update.
Okay, thanks.
But I don't think that's confirmed, but I do think the select board will get an update on the 17th. Yeah. And so maybe after that, the group could talk about it here on the 19th, but I don't know if it'll be ready by the 12th. so
Okay, thanks.
I'll ask Connor when I do the agenda to
Okay.
see his thoughts on that.
Another question perhaps for Connor is, any sign of the wage and benefit study yet?
Oh, I thought that's what you were asking, sorry.
No, I was asking about whether general assistance has gone up,
Oh,
expense wise.
I haven't seen anything come through AP for paying out anything, and I don't think Debbie's had many appointments. And so I don't think there's been an impact as of yet, but that obviously could change
Yeah,
next month.
exactly.
So,
Okay. Satisfied with that?
Back in 1950, someone said, can we get general assistance to help with the Joint Chiefs of Staff? General Electric and General Motors too.
Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay. I think we're moving on to what we're scheduled to do next week. Parks and Recreation, Library, and Debt Service.
I didn't see where debt service was in here.
Chapter
Think-
12,
You know
I think.
where?
Chapter
It says
12 as
in
well.
Chapter 12, but I wasn't sure if there's a particular spot to be looking at.
I think it's a short blurb. If you go into the executive admin budget, where general assistance shows up, and then turn the page and you have long-term bond. It's not called debt service, it's called long-term bond.
I'm sorry, do you have what does it look like?
It's page 4 of 4,
4, 4.
and it looks like this, Scott. And if it isn't that, I have no idea, because I looked for it, and that was my best guess.
It's also, there's like in the narrative, it's page 12 of the narrative. It just shows like the long-term bond interest. And page 11 shows like the principal. It's just very, very small.
is what it is. Not gonna do much
Yeah, it's
about
just a
that.
fixed, yeah, we're told what we need to pay every year and so.
It's not debatable, Scott.
You can debate it, it just won't change.
Yeah, that's right.
Anything else? Okay. So, questions for Parks and Recreation, Chapter 22.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so last year on Park and Recreation maintenance and management, they put, the vote was almost no, right? And then we said, Mona and I said yes for capital reserve. But the question was that why didn't they put that in operating cost? So are they doing the same thing this year?
It appears that way.
What?
I
So,
said
but
it appears that way. Some of us were opposed to the warrant article in general. And I
Yeah.
must say I still am, but
I think we wanted them to put this one on the operating cost, at least for this year. Last year, they didn't put it in operating cost, but they should have learned to put that in operating cost rather than on capital reserve.
it appears it's going to be an ongoing expense. So I think probably does belong as a part of the budget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's about point. We'll talk about it next week.
Yes.
Thank you, Farida. Good.
Yes.
Okay,
catch.
thanks. Thank you.
Anything else we need to ask? Well set. Okay. Moving on to the library, section 23.
I think we wanted to have a sense of the electrical, the solar panel, what it might be saving the town, just for knowledge's sake. I don't think it was in their discussion.
I saw a discussion somewhere, Scott. I can't
Did you?
remember where. I was looking at difference in electrical costs for town hall.
Right, but it didn't include the library, I think.
Oh, perhaps not.
I think I put it in there as a question, like an outstanding question, and I haven't heard back. But Susan just joined the call. I don't know if she wanted to. If you can want to ask her directly.
Susan, do we have any information yet on what we perceive savings are going to be from the solar panels at the library? Susan, can you hear us? Perhaps not yet.
Muted.
Yeah, we can talk about it next week. They may not have the data as we talked about.
Yeah, since we really don't know what about the solar. We don't know what it was previously because there is no previous electrical bill for the. Some estimates, but I don't think.
But the library was going for a little while. Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
Certainly not enough to get a sense of what.
I'd like the town to know, given it was a gift essentially to the town, I'd like the town to recognize any savings that we are realizing.
Solar panels.
Is there any way I can jog, Susan?
Before the library.
Okay.
And the electricity is now powering those heat pumps. So that's the heat and cooling as well. So we're not buying propane over there.
So,
Write her a message in the chat or just wait till next week. It's up to you.
Pardon me?
We could write her a message in the chat or you can wait till next week.
Yeah, would you do that?
I'll just wait till next week.
That's all right too.
Yeah.
Anytime she had heads up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the minutes anyways and send it to her, so she'll have
Yep.
time to hopefully respond.
Yep.
Okay, I think we've agreed that debt service is something we don't need to discuss.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yep.
So given all that, I think we could take a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to
Scott
adjourn.
makes,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One of our shortest meetings ever.
Hey, that's because we got rid of Connor.